Captain Kim Tae-ho stared at the readings on his screen. The numbers did not make sense. His ship, the Silent Observer, had been watching empty space for 3 years. Today was different. Today, space was not empty anymore. "Sir, you need to see this," said Lieutenant Park Min-jun from the sensor station. His voice was shaking. "The energy readings are off the charts." Kim walked over to the young officer's station. The screen showed waves of energy moving through space like ripples on water. But these ripples were bigger than anything he had ever seen. Each wave was the size of a small moon. "What could make energy patterns like this?" Kim asked. "I don't know, sir. But whatever it is, it's big. Really big." Kim had been in space for 20 years. He had seen solar flares, asteroid impacts, and dying stars. None of them looked like this. The energy was organized, controlled. It was not natural. "Set course for the source," Kim ordered. "Keep us hidden. I want to know what's out there." The Silent Observer moved through space like a ghost. Earth's ships were built to hide, not to fight. For 200 years, humanity had stayed away from the rest of the galaxy. They watched from far away and kept quiet. It was safer that way. 3 days later, they found the source of the energy waves. Kim could not believe what he saw on the main screen. Thousands of pieces of metal floated in space. Ships. Broken ships. Some were as big as cities. Others were small like fighters. All of them were dead and burning. "My God," whispered Navigator Oh Sung-hoon. "It's a graveyard." Kim had seen pictures of alien ships before. Earth's long-range sensors had spotted them sometimes, always far away. But seeing them up close was different. These ships were beautiful and terrible. Their designs were nothing like human ships. Some looked like sea creatures. Others were all sharp angles and flowing lines. "Start recording everything," Kim ordered. "I want detailed scans of every piece of wreckage." As his crew worked, Kim tried to understand what he was seeing. This had been a battle, a big one. Daptai. Energy readings his ship had detected were the death screams of thousands of vessels. But who had been fighting? And why? Lieutenant Park found the answer in the ship's communication systems. "Sir, I'm picking up signal fragments from the wreckage. The computer is trying to translate them." The main screen filled with words. Most were broken and hard to read, but some were clear enough to understand. "Coalition forces, retreat, hegemony fleet approaching. All ships evacuate. They have the planet killer." Kim felt cold. Planet killer. The words made his skin crawl. He had heard rumors about the Galactic War from Earth's intelligence services, 2 great powers fighting across the stars. But rumors were different from seeing the results with your own eyes. "Sir, I'm detecting something else," Park said. His face was pale. "There's a ship out there. It's still alive." On the screen, Kim saw a vessel different from the others. It was damaged but not destroyed. Emergency lights blinked along its hull. Someone was still inside. "Can we communicate with them?" Kim asked. "I think so, sir. Their communication system is still working." Kim made a decision that would change everything. "Open a channel." The screen flickered and showed the inside of an alien bridge. A creature sat in what looked like a command chair. It had blue-green skin and large eyes. When it saw Kim, it started speaking in a language of clicks and whistles. The computer worked to translate the words. After a few moments, text appeared on the screen. "Please help us. We are dying. The hegemony comes." Kim's heart was racing. First contact. This was first contact with an alien species. Earth's government had rules about this. Strict rules. No contact, no involvement. Stay hidden. "What do you need?" Kim found himself asking. The alien's eyes widened with hope. "Medical supplies. Our life support is failing. We have wounded." Kim looked around his bridge. His crew was watching him. He could help these beings. He had medical supplies and repair equipment, but helping them would break every rule Earth had made. "Sir," Park whispered, "if we help them, they'll know we exist. They'll know about Earth." Kim nodded. He understood the danger. But looking at the dying alien on his screen, he could not do nothing. "Prepare medical supplies," he ordered. And get me Admiral Lee on a secure channel. He needs to know about this. 2 hours later, Kim was talking to Admiral Lee Dong-wook, commander of Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Division. Lee was an old soldier with gray hair and tired eyes. He had spent his life watching the galaxy and keeping Earth safe. "You found what?" Lee asked when Kim finished his report. "A battlefield, sir. Thousands of destroyed ships and survivors who need help." Lee was quiet for a long moment. Kim could see him thinking, weighing options. "Did you help them?" "Yes, sir. We gave them medical supplies and helped repair their life support. They would have died otherwise. And now they know about us." "Yes, sir." Lee sighed. "What did you learn from them?" Kim looked at his notes. "They're from something called the Coalition. They were fighting the hegemony. The hegemony has a weapon that can destroy planets. They're winning the war." "How far is this battlefield from Earth?" 50 light years, sir. The closest alien contact we've ever had." Lee's face grew dark. "Kim, get your ship back to Earth. Now. We need to talk to the Council." 3 days later, Kim stood in the Council chamber on Earth. The room was full of the most important people in human government. At the center sat Counselor Yoon Sora, head of the Terran Isolation Council. She was a woman who believed in keeping humanity separate from the galaxy's problems. "Captain Kim," she said in a cold voice, "you have violated every rule we have about alien contact." "I saved lives, ma'am," Kim replied. "They were dying. And in doing so, you may have doomed us all." Admiral Lee stood up. "With respect, Counselor, we need to talk about what Kim discovered. This war is getting closer to us." "The war is not our problem," Yoon said. "It has never been our problem. We stay hidden. We stay safe." Dr. Park Ji-won, Earth's top expert on alien communications, stepped forward. She was a small woman with intelligent eyes. "Counselor, I've studied the data from Captain Kim's mission. The hegemony is not just another alien government. They're conquerors. They take over entire species." "Let them," Yoon replied, "as long as they leave us alone." Admiral Lee activated a holographic display. It showed the galaxy with thousands of colored dots. These are the star systems that have gone dark in the last 50 years. The hegemony is expanding in all directions, including towards us. The room was quiet as everyone looked at the map. The pattern was clear. The hegemony was growing like a cancer, consuming everything in its path. "How long before they reach human space?" asked Counselor Han Jae-sung, a younger man who often disagreed with Yoon. Dr. Park studied the map. "At their current rate of expansion, maybe 10 years. Maybe 5. Then we have time," Yoon said. "Time to move our outer colonies. Time to hide better." "Where?" Admiral Lee asked. "They're expanding everywhere. There's nowhere left to hide." The argument went on for hours. Some council members wanted to contact the Coalition and offer help. Others wanted to pull all human ships back to Earth and hope the aliens never found them. In the end, Yoon's voice was the loudest. "We will not get involved in this war," she declared. "We will strengthen our defenses and improve our hiding technology, but we will not fight aliens' battles for them." Kim left the council chamber feeling sick. He thought about the alien he had saved. The creature had been so grateful, so hopeful. Now Kim wondered if he had given that hope for nothing. That night, Kim could not sleep. He stood at his apartment window, looking up at the stars. Somewhere out there, the war was continuing. Planets were dying, species were disappearing, and Earth was doing nothing. His communication device beeped. It was Admiral Lee. "Kim, I need you back in space. Take the silent observer to the edge of our territory. I want you to watch for any signs of hegemony movement." "Yes, sir. What about the Council's orders?" Lee was quiet for a moment. "The Council ordered us to defend Earth. I can't defend what I can't see coming." 2 weeks later, Kim was back in space. His ship patrolled the outer edge of human territory, watching and waiting. His crew was nervous. They all knew what they were looking for, and they all knew what it would mean if they found it. On a Tuesday that started like any other, Lieutenant Park called out from his sensor station. "Sir, I'm detecting movement." Large ships, unknown configuration. Kim felt his heart stop. How many? Hundreds, sir. Maybe thousands. They're moving in formation. Kim looked at the tactical display. A massive fleet was moving through space towards previously unconquered systems. The ships were unlike anything in Earth's databases. They were dark, angular, and menacing. Even on sensors, they looked dangerous. Are they heading for us? Kim asked. Park worked at his console for several minutes. Not directly, sir, but their course will bring them within 20 light-years of our outer colonies. 20 light-years. In galactic terms, that was next door. Kim opened a communication channel to Earth. This is Silent Observer calling Fleet Command. Priority, one message for Admiral Lee. While they waited for a response, Kim watched the alien fleet on his screens. The ships moved with purpose and discipline. This was not an exploration mission or a trade convoy. This was an invasion force. Admiral Lee's face appeared on the communication screen. He looked tired and worried. What do you have for me, Kim? A hegemony fleet. 6 months had passed since Captain Kim Tae-ho first saw the hegemony fleet. Earth had spent those months arguing and preparing. The arguments were louder, but the preparation was quiet. Admiral Lee Dong-wook knew better than to wait for the council to make up its mind. Dr. Park Ji-won was in her laboratory when the first refugee ship appeared. The alarms started screaming at 3 a.m. She ran to the observation deck and saw something impossible. A ship was floating near the space station, but it was not human. The vessel was beautiful and broken. Its hull looked like it was grown rather than built, with flowing curves and organic shapes. But half of it was melted away, and the other half sparked with electrical fires. This is station control to unknown vessel, the communication officer said. Please identify yourself. The response came in clicks and whistles that the computer slowly translated. Please help. Coalition ship. Starwind requesting sanctuary. We are dying. Dr. Park grabbed her communication device. This is Dr. Park Ji-won. I'm the xenobiology expert. Let me talk to them. She had studied alien languages for 20 years, but only from recordings. Speaking to a living alien was different, exciting and terrifying at the same time. This is Dr. Park of Earth Station Alpha. We will help you. Can you dock with our station? Docking systems damaged. We have shuttles. May we come aboard? Dr. Park looked at the station commander, Captain Bae Hyun-soo. He was a careful man who followed rules. But right now his face showed only concern for the aliens who needed help. Permission granted, he said. Dock at Bay 7. An hour later, Dr. Park stood in the docking bay as the alien shuttle arrived. She had seen pictures and videos, but nothing prepared her for meeting aliens face to face. They were tall and graceful, with blue-green skin and large eyes that seemed to see everything. Their movements were smooth and flowing like dancers. The first alien through the door wore what looked like a diplomatic uniform. It walked up to Dr. Park and spoke in its clicking language. The translation came through her earpiece. I am Ambassador Keith Morin of the Free Worlds Coalition. We come seeking sanctuary from the hegemony advance. I am Dr. Park Ji-won. Welcome to Earth space. You are safe here. The ambassador's large eyes filled with something that looked like tears. Thank you. We were not sure humanity still existed. Your radio signal stopped 50 years ago. Dr. Park felt cold. The aliens had been listening to Earth's radio broadcasts. They knew humans existed. The secret Earth had worked so hard to keep was already gone. More aliens came through the shuttle door. Some wore military uniforms. Others looked like civilians. All of them looked tired and scared. Dr. Park counted 37 beings from 6 different species. How many more ships are coming? She asked Ambassador Keith Morin. We do not know. The hegemony destroyed most of the evacuation fleet. Some escaped, but we lost contact with them. A tall, muscular alien in a military uniform stepped forward. The translator identified her as Commander Veltara. Doctor, we must warn you. The hegemony tracked us to this system. They know you are here now. They will come for you. Dr. Park felt the world spinning around her. How long do we have? Perhaps a few days. Perhaps a few hours. The hegemony does not wait when they find new prey. Captain Bay was listening to everything through his communication device. His voice crackled through the speakers. Dr. Park, I need you and the aliens in conference room 1. Now, I'm calling Admiral Lee. The conference room was too small for 37 aliens and a dozen humans. Dr. Park found herself pressed against beings from worlds she had only dreamed about. Some breathed different air, so environmental suits were needed. Others communicated through color changes in their skin rather than sound. Ambassador Keth Moran stood at the center of the room. When he spoke, everyone listened. The hegemony has conquered 70% of the galaxy. They do not negotiate. They do not show mercy. They take everything and leave nothing behind. What do you mean by everything? Dr. Park asked. Commander Veltara answered. Resources, technology, people. My homeworld had 12 billion inhabitants. The hegemony took the useful ones as slaves and killed the rest. Then they stripped the planet of all metals and left it, as a dead rock floating in space. The humans in the room were quiet. Dr. Park could see the horror on their faces. This was not war as humans understood it. This was extermination. Why did you come here? Captain Bay asked. Because Earth is humanity's last hope, Ambassador Keth Moran said. We studied your species for decades before your radio silence. Humans are different from other species. You adapt. You innovate. You never give up. The galaxy needs that strength. What are you asking of us? Dr. Park said. Join the coalition. Fight with us. Help us stop the hegemony before they consume everything. At that moment, Admiral Lee's face appeared on the main screen. He had been listening to the entire conversation from Earth. Ambassador, Lee said, we appreciate your situation, but Earth has a policy of non-involvement in galactic affairs. Admiral, Commander Veltara interrupted. Non-involvement is no longer possible. We were followed here. The hegemony knows about humanity now. You can fight with allies or you can fight alone. But you will fight. The room was silent. Dr. Park could hear the alien refugees breathing, waiting for an answer that would decide their fate and Earth's future. Admiral Lee spoke carefully. What would you need from us? Sanctuary for our refugees, bases for our remaining ships, and eventually, human ships and crews fighting alongside us. I cannot make that decision. It must come from Earth's Council. Ambassador Keth Moran's shoulders dropped. How long will that take? Days, maybe weeks. We do not have weeks. The hegemony. Alarms started screaming throughout the station. Captain Bay's voice came over the speakers. All stations. Alert status. Red. Unknown ships approaching. Large formation. Admiral, you need to see this. The main screen switched to the station's external cameras. Dr. Park gasped when she saw what was coming. Ships filled the screen, dark and angular like metal predators. She had seen pictures in the intelligence reports, but seeing a hegemony fleet in person was different. These ships radiated menace and power. Coalition refugees, a cold voice said, through the station's communication system. The computer translated it into human language. This system is now under hegemony control. Surrender immediately or face destruction. Commander Veltara grabbed Dr. Park's arm. They have found us. You must decide now. On the screen, Admiral Lee looked older than Dr. Park had ever seen him. The weight of humanity's future was on his shoulders. Captain Bay, how many hegemony? Ships? 57, sir. They have us completely surrounded. Dr. Park watched the alien refugees in the room. Some were praying in languages she did not understand. Others were holding each other, preparing to die. These beings had lost everything and come to humanity as their last hope. Admiral, she said, we have to do something. The Council has not decided. The Council is not here, Dr. Park shouted. These people need our help, and from what Commander Veltara says, we're going to need their help too. The hegemony voice spoke again. You have 30 minutes to surrender the coalition fugitives. After that, we will take them by force. Admiral Lee closed his eyes. Dr. Park could see him thinking, calculating, weighing the cost of every choice. Captain Bay, what is your ship's status? We have minimal weapons, sir. Nothing that could fight a fleet this size. What about escape? Impossible. Sir, they have every exit covered. Dr. Park looked around the room at the faces of humans and aliens. Everyone was waiting for someone else to make the decision that would change everything. Admiral, she said quietly, what would Captain Kim do? Lee opened his eyes and looked at her through the screen. Kim had been the first human to help aliens. He had broken the rules because it was the right thing to do. Patch me through to the hegemony fleet, Lee said. A new face appeared on the screen. It was reptilian, with cold yellow eyes and sharp teeth. When it spoke, its voice was like metal scraping stone. I am Commander Theclon of the Hegemony 4th Fleet. Surrender the Coalition criminals, and we will consider allowing your species to live as slaves. This is Admiral Lee Dong-wook of the Terran Defense Force, Lee said. His voice was steady and strong. The beings on this station are under humanity's protection. If you want them, you'll have to go through us. The Hegemony commander's eyes widened with surprise, then narrowed with anger. You are a new species. You do not understand what you are challenging. We understand perfectly, Lee said. Earth does not surrender to bullies. The alien snarled, showing teeth like knives. You have chosen extinction. We will strip your worlds bare and use your bones for decoration. The communication channel closed. Through the station's windows, Dr. Park could see the Hegemony ships moving into attack positions. Admiral, Captain Bay said, they're powering weapons. All Earth ships in the system, move to defend the station, Lee ordered. Dr. Park, get everyone to emergency shelters. Dr. Park looked at Ambassador Keth Moran. I'm sorry we couldn't do more. The alien diplomat placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. Doctor, you have done something extraordinary. You chose to stand with us rather than stand aside. That choice will be remembered by every free being in the galaxy. Commander Veltara stepped forward. Admiral Lee, if we are going to die, let us die fighting together. The emergency session of the Terran Council had been going on for 18 hours. Counselor Yoon Sora sat at the head of the table, her face showing the strain of leading humanity through its greatest crisis. Around the table, the other council members argued in voices hoarse from debate. Admiral Lee exceeded his authority, Counselor Moon Jae-hyun said for the 10th time. He committed us to war without our permission. The Hegemony committed us to war when they followed the refugees. Here, replied Counselor Han Jae-sung, Lee just refused to let them slaughter innocent beings. Dr. Park Ji-won stood at the presentation screen, showing images from the refugee ships. Alien children with large, frightened eyes. Wounded soldiers from species humanity had never seen before. Scientists carrying the last data from destroyed worlds. These beings came to us for help, she said. They had nowhere else to go. Every other safe harbor in the galaxy has fallen to the Hegemony. And now we will fall too, Yoon said bitterly. 200 years of careful isolation, destroyed in one moment of misplaced heroism. Captain Kim Tae-ho had been called back from deep space to testify. He stood quietly in the corner, still wearing his ship uniform. His face showed no regret for the choice that started everything. Counselor Yoon, he said. With respect, isolation was always temporary. The Hegemony was expanding in our direction. They would have found us eventually. But not now. Yoon slammed her hand on the table. We could have had years to prepare, decades maybe. Now we have nothing. Admiral Lee appeared on the communication screen from the Defense Command Center. Dark circles under his eyes showed he had not slept since the battle. Council members, I have an update on the Hegemony forces. Our long-range sensors show 3 full fleets moving toward human space. They will be here in 72 hours. The room fell silent. 3 fleets meant thousands of ships. Earth's entire military could not fight 1 Hegemony fleet, much less 3. How many ships do we have? Counselor Park Seung-ho asked quietly. 237 combat vessels, Lee replied. Most are patrol ships and frigates. We have 12 heavy cruisers and 1 dreadnought. Against how many enemy ships? Intelligence estimates put each Hegemony fleet at 800 to 1,000 vessels. The numbers hung in the air like a death sentence. Even if every human ship fought perfectly, they were outnumbered more than 10 to 1. What about the coalition refugees? Dr. Park asked. How many ships do they have? Ambassador Keth Morin had been given permission to attend the council session. He stood gracefully and bowed to the assembled humans. We have 43 ships capable of combat, but most are damaged and understaffed. We lost many crew members in the evacuation. Counselor Moon shook his head. So we have less than 300 ships against 3,000. This is suicide. It is the only choice we have, said a new voice from the chamber doors. Everyone turned to see General Oh Seung-min, Earth's defense coordinator, entering the room. He was a tall man with silver hair and scars from old battles. Behind him walked Commander Veltara and several other coalition military officers. General, you were not invited to this session, Yoon said coldly. The hegemony did not invite us to this war either, Oh replied. But here we are. Commander Veltara has been briefing me on hegemony tactics and capabilities. What she told me changes everything. Commander Veltara stepped forward. Her alien features were stern but respectful. Council members, the hegemony conquers through fear and overwhelming force. But they have weaknesses. They are not used to enemies who adapt quickly or think outside their doctrine. What do you mean? Counselor Han asked. Human military thinking is different from any species we have encountered. Your tactics are unpredictable. Your technology develops in ways we do not expect. These differences could be advantages, Doctor. Park brought up new images on the screen. Technical diagrams and battle analysis from the station fight. During the battle at Station Alpha, human ships performed maneuvers that surprised the hegemony forces. Captain Bay used civilian mining, equipment as weapons. Lieutenant Park modified sensor arrays to jam enemy communications. The aliens were not prepared for such improvisation. Admiral Lee leaned forward on the screen. General Oh, what are you proposing? A joint defense strategy using combined human and coalition forces. We cannot match the hegemony in numbers or firepower, but we can be smarter and more flexible. You are talking about guerrilla warfare on a galactic scale, Yoon said. Yes, Oh replied. Hit-and-run tactics, asymmetric warfare. Make them pay for every system they take. Counselor Moon stood up angrily. You are talking about sacrificing human worlds, our colonies, our people. The alternative is surrendering without a fight, Oh said calmly. The hegemony does not take prisoners. They take slaves, or they take nothing. Ambassador Keth Moran spoke quietly. Counselor, I have seen what happens to species that surrender to the hegemony. It is not survival. It is slow extinction. They use you until you have nothing left to give. Then they discard you. The council chamber was quiet except for the hum of life support systems. Outside the windows, Earth turned peacefully in space, unaware that its fate was being decided. We need a vote, Yoon said finally. All in favor of surrendering to the hegemony and hoping for mercy? Only 3 hands went up. Councilors Moon, Park, and Cho voted for surrender. The other 7 members kept their hands down. All in favor of joining the coalition and fighting? 7 hands rose. Dr. Park felt her heart beating faster as she watched. Democracy in action. Humanity was choosing its future one vote at a time. The motion passes, Yoon said. She looked older than her 60 years. May God help us all. She stood up slowly. I cannot in good conscience lead humanity into a war I believe will destroy us. I hereby resign my position as head of the Terran Council. Gasps echoed around the chamber. Yoon had led the council for 15 years. Her resignation meant humanity was truly changing course. I call for an emergency vote for temporary war leadership, Counselor Han said. All in favor of General Oh Seung-min as Supreme Military Commander? The vote was unanimous. Even the council members who had voted for surrender supported Oh. They might disagree with the decision to fight, but they would not abandon humanity in its darkest hour. General, Oh accepted the position with a simple nod. My first order is to evacuate all non-essential personnel from our outer colonies. We will make our stand at Earth. General, Dr. Park said. What about the refugees? We have over 10,000 coalition civilians on various stations. Stay. They are under our protection now. O turned to Ambassador Kethmoran. Ambassador, I need your people to share everything they know about hegemony technology and tactics. It will be done, the alien replied. We also have technical specifications for coalition weapons and shields. Perhaps human engineering can improve upon them. Admiral Lee's face showed the first hope it had displayed in days. General, I have a proposal. We have 72 hours before the enemy arrives. We could use that time to evacuate, or we could use it to prepare surprises. What kind of surprises? Captain Kim discovered that hegemony sensors are not designed to detect human stealth technology. We could position ships in places they will not expect. General O smiled for the first time since entering the chamber. Admiral, prepare defensive. Positions throughout the system. Use every asteroid, every piece of cover. Make them hunt for us. Commander Veltara stepped forward. General, there is something else. Coalition intelligence believes the hegemony is testing your species. They sent a small force to see how humans react under pressure. If you fight well, they will bring larger fleets. And if we fight poorly, they will crush you quickly and move on to their next target. O nodded grimly. Then we had better fight very well. The next 72 hours were a blur of activity. Human and coalition engineers worked together to modify ships and weapons. Military officers from both sides shared tactical knowledge. Civilian populations were evacuated from the outer system, while volunteers stayed behind to help with the defense. Dr. Park found herself coordinating between human scientists and coalition technicians. The language barriers were challenging, but mathematics and physics were universal. When a coalition engineer showed her how their shield generators worked, she immediately saw ways to improve them using human materials. Your people think in straight lines, she told Commander Veltara, as they worked on modifications to a human cruiser. Efficient, but predictable. Humans think in curves and spirals. It makes our solutions harder to anticipate. That is why we need each other, Veltara replied. Separately, we are incomplete. Together, we might survive. Captain Kim was given command of the stealth squadron. 30 modified ships would hide in the asteroid belt and strike the enemy from unexpected angles. His ship, the Silent Observer, had been equipped with coalition weapons that tripled its firepower. Kim, Admiral Lee said during their final briefing, your job is not to win the battle. It is to make them remember us. Every hegemony ship you destroy sends a message to the galaxy that humanity will not go quietly. Understood, sir. We will make them pay. Engineer Choi Ye-jin had been working without sleep for 2 days, modifying Earth's orbital defense platforms. The platforms had been designed to stop asteroids and space debris. Now they were armed with the most powerful. The hegemony fleets appeared at the edge of the solar system like a dark storm. Their ships blotted out the stars, 3 massive formations moving with terrible purpose toward Earth. General Oh Seung-min watched from the command center as the enemy forces arranged themselves into attack positions. Count confirmed, Admiral Lee reported. 2,847 enemy vessels. They have us outnumbered 9-1. Then we had better be 9 times smarter. Oh replied calmly. The first phase of battle began with words. The hegemony commander's reptilian face appeared on screens throughout human space. His yellow eyes burned with contempt as he spoke. I am Fleet Admiral Korath of the Hegemony Combined Strike Force. You will surrender immediately. Your resistance at the outer station was noted, but futile. Submit now, and some of your kind may be permitted to serve. General O activated the reply channel. Behind him stood representatives from every human colony and coalition refugee group. They had chosen to stand together. I am General Oh Seung-min, Supreme Commander of the Terran Defense Force. Your offer is rejected. Earth does not kneel to tyrants. The alien's eyes narrowed. Then you choose extinction. We will take your worlds piece by piece and use your bones as trophies. You are welcome to try. The communication ended. For a moment, space was silent except for the whisper of solar wind against ship hulls. Then the hegemony fleets began to move. Captain Kim Tae-ho watched from the silent observer, hidden deep in the asteroid belt. His stealth squadron was humanity's secret weapon, 30 ships invisible to enemy sensors. Around him, the asteroids provided perfect cover for an ambush. All ships, hold position, Kim ordered. Wait for the signal. The main hegemony fleet moved toward Earth's orbital defenses. Their ships were massive, each one larger than humanity's biggest vessel. But size was not everything. Engineer Choi Ye-jin had spent 3 days turning Earth's defense platforms into surprises that would shock the galaxy. Enemy ships entering. Weapons range, reported Lieutenant Park Min-jun from the primary defense station. Hold fire, General Oh commanded. Let them get closer. The hegemony ships opened fire first. Massive energy beams lanced across space, striking Earth's outer defense ring. But the human platforms absorbed the attacks and fired back with weapons powered by coalition technology. The first surprise was how hard Earth's defenses hit back. Choi's modified platforms unleashed beams that cut through hegemony shields like they were paper. Enemy ships exploded in brilliant flashes of light, their debris spinning away into space. Direct hits on 17 enemy vessels, Admiral Lee announced. The platforms are exceeding performance expectations. But the hegemony had thousands of ships. They adapted quickly to the unexpected firepower, focusing their attacks on the defense platforms. One by one, Choi's masterpieces were destroyed, under concentrated fire. Platform 7 is gone, she reported sadly from the engineering station. Platform 4 is losing power. You did your job, Oh told her. Those platforms took out over 100 enemy ships before going down. The second phase of battle began when the hegemony moved deeper into the system. They expected to find cowering human ships hiding behind planets. Instead, they found Captain Bae Hyun-soo commanding the Luna Defense Group. Bae had turned the moon into a fortress. Hidden weapons installations opened fire from craters and underground bunkers. Human ships darted out from behind lunar mountains, struck at enemy vessels, and disappeared again into the moon's protective shadow. This is Luna Base to all units, Bae broadcasted. Hit them hard and fade away. Make every shot count. The fighting around the moon was brutal. Hegemony ships tried to land troops on the lunar surface, but human defenders had spent weeks preparing. Mining equipment became improvised weapons. Civilian engineers fought alongside soldiers, using their knowledge of lunar terrain to set traps and ambushes. Commander Veltara led coalition forces in the outer system. Her ships were damaged and understaffed, but they fought with the fury of beings who had lost everything to the hegemony. Working with Captain Seo Jae-wook's human squadron, they used hit-and-run tactics to harass enemy supply lines. Human ship. Vigilant, this is Veltara. Enemy transport approaching your position. We see it, Commander, beginning attack run. The combined human-alien force swooped down on the transport like hawks hunting prey. Coalition weapons and human tactics proved to be a deadly combination. The transport exploded, taking with it supplies meant for the hegemony assault force. But the enemy kept coming. For every hegemony ship destroyed, 2 more took its place. The human defenders were running out of ships, ammunition, and time. General, Admiral Lee reported grimly, we have lost 40% of our fleet. The orbital defense grid is down. They are moving toward Earth itself. Oh studied the tactical display. Red icons representing enemy ships surrounded blue dots showing human forces. The pattern looked like a noose tightening around Earth's neck. Signal, Captain Kim, begin Operation Hammerstrike. In the asteroid belt, Kim received the order he had been waiting for. Around him, 30 invisible ships powered up their engines and weapons. All stealth units. This is Silent Observer. Target the enemy flagship, attack pattern Delta for Earth. The stealth squadron emerged from the asteroids like ghosts materializing in space. Their modified hulls reflected no sensors, and their approach was completely silent. The hegemony fleet had no warning until human weapons began cutting through their formation. Kim's ship fired everything it had at the massive hegemony command vessel. Coalition energy beams punched through the flagship's shields, causing explosions that lit up space like a new star. Direct hit on the flagship, Lieutenant Park shouted. Their command structure is disrupted. For precious minutes, the hegemony fleet was confused and leaderless. Human forces used that time to regroup and strike back. Captain Hanbora led a desperate charge by the remaining human cruisers, diving into the heart of the enemy formation. "All ships, follow me in," she broadcasted. "We are going to hurt them badly." Han's ships fought with the courage of the desperate. They rammed enemy vessels when their weapons ran dry. They used debris as improvised weapons. They turned their own exploding ships into bombs that took down multiple enemy targets. The galaxy had never seen anything like human warfare. Other species fought for territory or resources. Humans fought for ideals, and that made them unpredictable and dangerous. But courage alone could not overcome impossible odds. One by one, the human ships fell silent. The lunar defenses were overrun. The outer system defense groups were scattered or destroyed. "General," Admiral Lee said quietly, "I am detecting coalition ships approaching. A large force." O looked at the tactical display. New blue icons were appearing at the edge of the system. Hundreds of them. Ambassador Kethmoran's voice came over. The communication system filled with emotion. "General O, this is Coalition Fleet Command. We received your distress signal. The free worlds have voted. We are coming to help." The Coalition Reinforcement Fleet was the largest gathering of free ships in decades, vessels from dozens of worlds and species, all united by humanity's example of courage. They had abandoned defensive positions throughout the galaxy to come to Earth's aid. Coalition forces. This is General O. Welcome to the party. The tide of battle began to turn. Fresh coalition ships struck the hegemony flanks while human survivors regrouped for another attack. The enemy found themselves caught between two forces, their advantage in numbers slowly disappearing. Captain Kim's stealth squadron continued to harass the enemy rear, appearing without warning to destroy supply ships and communication relays. Engineer Choi had modified their weapons with new technology developed during the battle, making each shot more deadly than before. Commander Veltara coordinated the combined fleet assault. Human tactical thinking merged with coalition technology and alien knowledge of hegemony weaknesses. Together, they were stronger than any of them could be alone. "All ships, focus fire on the enemy command cluster," she ordered. "Cut off their coordination." The space around Earth became a maze of laser beams, explosions, and dying ships. Debris from both sides created hazardous clouds that sparkled in Earth's sunlight. But slowly, inevitably, the hegemony fleet began to pull back. Fleet. Admiral Korath's image appeared on human communication screens. The reptilian commander's face showed rage and disbelief. "This is not over, humans. We have 1,000 fleets. You have delayed your extinction, not prevented it." "Then send your 1,000 fleets," General O replied. "We will be ready for them." The surviving hegemony ships retreated to the edge of the system, then jumped to hyperspace. They left behind hundreds of wrecked vessels and the wreckage of their reputation for invincibility. Dr. Park Ji-won stood in the ruins of the observation deck, looking out at the aftermath of humanity's first galactic battle. Debris fields stretched, as far as the eye could see. Some pieces were human ships, some were alien. All represented beings who had died for the cause of freedom. "How many did we lose?" she asked Admiral Lee. 187 human ships, about 40% of our fleet. Coalition losses were similar. The numbers were staggering, but they had won. Earth was safe, and the hegemony had suffered. Their first major defeat in decades. Captain Kim's voice crackled over the communication system from the Cylon. 6 months after the Battle of Earth, the solar system had transformed into the largest military base in the galaxy. Shipyards floated near every planet and major asteroid. Human and coalition engineers worked together around the clock, building vessels that combined the best of both technologies. Dr. Park Ji-won walked through the research station orbiting Mars, reviewing the latest developments. In one laboratory, human scientists worked with alien refugees to create new weapon systems. In another, coalition technicians studied human manufacturing methods that could produce ships faster than anyone thought possible. Dr. Park, called Engineer Choi Ye-jin from across the lab. You need to see this. Park hurried over to where Choi was working with a group of coalition scientists. On the workbench was a device unlike anything she had ever seen. It pulsed with energy and seemed to bend light around itself. What is it? We combined human quantum mechanics with coalition energy manipulation, Choi explained excitedly. The result is a shield system that can absorb enemy weapons fire and redirect it back at the attacker. One of the alien scientists, a tall being with crystal-like skin, spoke in its musical language. The translator converted the words to human speech. The way humans think in ways we never considered, it said. They take our established science and find new applications we missed for centuries. Park smiled. This had become the pattern over the past months. Human creativity combined with alien knowledge produced innovations that surprised everyone. But she knew they would need every advantage they could get. Any word on when the hegemony will return? She asked. Choi's expression grew serious. Captain Kim's deep space patrols report massive fleet movements. Intelligence thinks they are, gathering everything they have for one final assault. Park nodded. The reports had been coming in for weeks. The hegemony was mobilizing fleets from across the galaxy, stripping defenses from conquered worlds to build an armada capable of destroying Earth and the Coalition once and for all. In the Command Center on Earth, General Oh Seung-min studied holographic displays showing the military situation across the galaxy. Red icons marked hegemony-controlled systems, while blue showed Coalition territory. The red was spreading like a disease, consuming world after world. General, Admiral Lee reported, we have confirmation of the enemy buildup. Long-range scouts report over 15,000 hegemony ships gathering at the staging area. Oh felt the weight of every life depending on his decisions. 15,000 ships. Even with all the Coalition reinforcements and new human vessels, they would be outnumbered 5-1. What is the status of our fleet? 3,000 human ships operational. The Coalition has managed to scrape together another 2,000 from systems throughout the galaxy. Every free world has contributed whatever they could spare. Admiral Park Dong-hyun, who had replaced Lee as fleet commander when Lee was promoted to strategic command, stepped forward. General, there is something else. We have volunteers. Volunteers. Species that are not officially part of the Coalition but want to help. Traders, miners, even some pirates. They have heard about humanity's stand against the hegemony. They want to be part of it. Oh was amazed. How many ships? Over 1,000, sir. Not all are military vessels, but their crews are determined to fight for freedom. Commander Veltara entered the command center, her alien features showing both exhaustion and hope. She had been coordinating resistance cells throughout hegemony territory, organizing uprisings to coincide with the main battle. General O, she said, I have a report from the resistance networks. When the final battle begins, 17 occupied worlds will rise up simultaneously. The hegemony will be fighting enemies behind their own lines as well as in front of them. Oh, felt a spark of hope for the first time in months. Excellent. What about the special project? Captain Choi Hyun-woo reports that the new weapon system is ready for testing, Admiral Park replied. It is based on Coalition research, but uses human manufacturing techniques to make it practical. The special project was humanity's most desperate gamble. Coalition scientists had discovered that the hegemony's planet-killer weapon had a fundamental weakness in its power core. If they could exploit that weakness, they might be able to turn the weapon against its creators. But exploiting the weakness required a ship to get within point-blank range of the massive weapon platform. It was a suicide mission, and Captain Choi had volunteered to carry it out. 3 weeks later, the long-awaited hegemony armada appeared at the edge of the system. The fleet was so large that it blocked out entire star fields. Their ships stretched, from one side of the solar system to the other, a wall of metal and weapons that seemed impossible to defeat. Fleet Admiral Korath's face appeared on communication screens throughout human space. The reptilian commander looked confident and cruel. Humans and Coalition scum, he snarled. This is your last opportunity to surrender. Submit now, and your deaths will be quick. General O activated the reply channel. Behind him stood representatives, from dozens of species, all united in their determination to fight for freedom. Admiral Korath, this is General O. We have already given you our answer. Earth does not surrender to bullies. Then you will die as an example to the galaxy. No one defies the hegemony and survives. The communication ended, and the final battle for the fate of the galaxy began. The hegemony fleet moved forward in a massive formation that seemed to cover half the sky. Their weapons opened fire while they were still light minutes away, filling space with deadly energy beams that could destroy planets. But the human coalition fleet was ready. They had spent 6 months preparing for this moment, developing tactics and technologies specifically designed to fight impossible odds. Captain Kim led the expanded stealth squadron, now numbering over 100 invisible ships. They struck at the enemy flanks, appearing without warning to destroy key vessels before vanishing back into the darkness. Captain Han Bo-Ra commanded the main battle line, a formation of the most powerful ships in the Allied fleet. Human dreadnoughts fought alongside coalition battleships and converted civilian vessels armed with improvised weapons. Engineer Choi's shield technology proved its worth in the first hour of battle. Human ships absorbed hegemony weapons fire and reflected it back at their attackers, creating a deadly light show that illuminated the entire solar system. But the enemy kept coming. For every hegemony ship destroyed, 2 more took its place. The battle raged for days, with neither side able to gain a decisive advantage. Dr. Park watched from the command center as casualty reports poured in. Thousands of ships destroyed on both sides. Millions of beings dead in the cold vacuum of space. The price of freedom was written in blood and starfire. General, Admiral Park reported grimly, we have lost 30% of our fleet. The enemy is pushing toward Earth itself. O studied the tactical displays. The situation looked hopeless, but he had learned never to underestimate human determination. Signal all reserves. Bring in every ship we have. The final phase of the battle began when the hegemony revealed their ultimate weapon. A massive platform appeared at the center of their fleet, larger than a moon, and bristling with weapons that could destroy star systems. Planet killer confirmed, Admiral Park announced. It is charging weapons. Estimated time to firing, 1 hour. O turned to Captain Choi Hyun-woo, who stood ready beside his small fast ship. The captain was young, barely 30 years old, but his eyes showed the determination of someone willing to die for his beliefs. Captain, are you ready? Yes, sir. It has been an honor serving with you. Choi's ship launched from the command station and raced toward the massive hegemony weapon platform. Around him, every allied ship in the system provided cover, sacrificing themselves to give him a clear path to the target. Dr. Park watched on the tactical display as Choi's ship dodged through enemy fire, weaving between exploding vessels and deadly energy beams. Other ships fell around him, their crews dying to protect his mission. Choi is through the enemy line, Admiral Park reported. He is approaching the planet killer. On the communication screen, Captain Choi's face appeared. He looked calm despite the chaos around him. General, this is Choi. I am in position. The weapon is charging for final firing sequence. I can see Earth through their targeting system. Proceed with the mission, Captain. Sir, it has been the greatest honor of my life to serve humanity and the cause of freedom. Tell everyone that we chose to stand up when it mattered. Choi's ship disappeared into the massive weapon platform. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the planet killer began to shake and convulse as internal explosions tore it apart. The weapon platform exploded in a blast of light visible from Earth's surface. The explosion chain reacted through nearby hegemony ships, destroying dozens of vessels and crippling the enemy fleet's command structure. But Choi's sacrifice had a deeper effect than anyone expected. Throughout the galaxy, beings watched the battle through captured communications and hidden sensors. They saw a young human give his life to save worlds he had never seen, people he had never met. The resistance uprisings that had been planned for months suddenly erupted with new fury. On every hegemony-controlled world, oppressed beings rose up with the battle cry, for Earth, for Choi, for freedom. The hegemony fleet, already damaged by T,